And Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Once again, welcome to our first digital onboarding session. So 2020 was a bit of a train wreck for everyone, especially for us, because a lot of work that we do has to have that face-to-face aspect. So we had to pivot really fast and really hard into bringing everything digitally. And so far, alhamdulillah, Women Engineers Pakistan has not just done well enough, we've done better than our previous years. With that, I welcome everyone who has joined in today to the onboarding conference. Just to quickly give you a very short brief about Aaj Hoga Kya. We are going to start with opening remarks from our core team. Then we're going to give you a very short, very brief introduction to what the Campus Ambassador program entails. Can everyone hear me? Because Hamza says Awaz nahi aa rahi. Can everyone else hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. If you don't at any time, just write it in the chat and I will try to be louder. I'll try to fiddle with my microphone here as well. Anyhow, then we have a meet and greet scheduled for you with seniors, with past alumni that have been through the WEP campus experience. Now, very important for you to note here, jitne bhi logon se aap aaj engage karenge, make sure you connect with them on LinkedIn. So right now there's 30, 40 something people joined in. Make sure everybody is connected to the other person on LinkedIn, right? Women Engineers Pakistan is an amazing resource to increase your career, to increase your network. And we always say here in this institution that your net worth is your network. So know that today is when your career starts, okay? Anyhow, so make sure you get in touch with alumni, WEP alumni. Then we have a very, very amazing session planned for you, which is an introduction to CuriosityNet with Zartaj Ahmed. Zartaj is a serial entrepreneur and she's kickstarted this new LinkedIn for students. Now, this is very important for everybody here today because here is where you get access to internships, access to jobs, access to better career reforms. If you don't like the field you are in, for example, and you want to pivot into something that matches your skill set and also your interests, these are the people you need to get in touch with. Then we're going to be talking with Mariam Arshad. Mariam represents Google Business Group in Peshawar. She's also the founder of Impact Dynamics, and she's an all-rounder rock star, somebody that I really look up to, and I believe she is the ultimate resource if anybody believes that the entrepreneurial mindset, even if you don't want to create a startup, is important in your everyday life. And lastly, we'll be talking with Narjis. Narjis is going to join us from Pittsburgh, USA. It's going to be 6:30 a.m. for her at that time. She's going to be talking about how we can, as engineers, आज तक तो किताबों से रट्टे लगाते हैं, right? How do we bring in, as engineers and scientists, how do we bring in the human concept, the human aspect of design, of engineering, of science into the work we do, which is very, very important for Pakistan today. However, very important for everybody to know, you must attend all sessions today. You have to act as if this is your first day at a job, right? Because this is literally your first day at a job. However, what you must absolutely at all costs do during this conference, network, like I said, please ask questions, right? We expect you to ask questions. We expect you to ask all kinds of questions because we did the same. We didn't get here without asking questions. And sometimes we ask really dumb questions, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine, right? A dumb question is better than a dumb mistake. So always know that. And lastly, engage with us, engage with each other, engage with folks other than your campus team, other than from your university. This is your one shot to reach out to everyone here joining in from all parts of Pakistan. However, now I'd like to hand over the stage to Sabah. Sabah is the Director for Business Development with Women Engineers Pakistan. Dr. Sabah is also, by the way, a very credible scientist within the field of biosensors. And I do not want to do injustice to her own introduction, so let me mute myself, and Sabah, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ramla. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, so a quick word about me. I'm currently working as a postdoctoral researcher in the biosensors group in Leuven in Belgium. And of course, WEP has been a part of my life for quite a few years. So I'm really happy to share some of the things with you today to welcome you officially, get to know you as well, and see how we can actually create value together using this amazing platform. So first of all, I think from today onwards, you need to keep one thing in mind, that you are a member of a very prestigious club from now on. And what you do with this club is completely up to you. What do you do with this opportunity? It's completely up to you. I see each and every one of you, the 30-something that are currently present in this meeting today, I see every one of you as a leader in your own right. I know आप सोच रहे हो कि oh, but मैं तो team member हूँ, मैं campus ambassador नहीं हूँ. No, you are still a leader, because you are a leader for all the tasks that you're responsible for, and also the most important task, which is you, yourself, your career and your professional growth. So how actually can you be an impactful leader? मतलब इतना major किस्म का काम है, इतनी major responsibility है to steer your own career and your professional growth. How can you actually be that? You know, typically जब हम लोग सोचते हैं कि oh अच्छा, I have been assigned a leader for this particular project or whatnot, what do? We think, right? आप सबसे पहले सोचते हो कि अच्छा अगर मुझे ये project assign हो गया तो अब मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? You sit down and maybe you make lists and you think about अच्छा मैं किस situation में क्या करूं? So you actually think. That's the first thing that you do. I want to challenge that. Let's flip it. What if instead of thinking first, you acted first? What if instead of पहले बैठ के सोचना है, list बनानी है, क्या करना है, क्या नहीं करना, and then pick out the things कि अच्छा मैं इस तरह act करूँगा या करूँगी, and then go about it? No. What if you just acted first and then thought about कि अच्छा ये actions किस तरह से tie in होते हैं with my leadership role? So this is a dogma that's called act like a leader, think like a leader, and it's taught by an award-winning professor, Herminia Ibarra, all over the world. And I want to actually talk about this with you today. Okay, what does this flip look like? It actually means that you should act, you should engage in experiences, you should try new things, you should, branch out before you start to think कि मुझे एक leader को किस तरह से काम करना चाहिए. What does a leader look like? Because by doing, you're getting so much more knowledge. You're getting what is called outside. You're getting external knowledge, which you can use then to think कि अच्छा ये वाली चीजें I want to keep और ये वाली चीजें मैं नहीं रखना चाहता because they don't gel in with the job profile. So I'm going to give you 3 tips to how, on how actually you can go about doing that. First up, redefine your job. So right now, for most of you, you're a university student. So what is your job? To study, to learn, right? But how can you actually redefine it? Like, for example, can you find alternative ways of learning? For example, extracurriculars. Can you take on a project that is not actually required for you to graduate? Can you decide to take up a course in a non-related major to just expand to actually redefine what your role or task as a student is. कि वो किताबें पढ़ के एग्जाम्स पास करके डिग्री लेना है, or is it something more, or is it something that goes beyond that? So that's the first step. Redefine your job. Don't think of yourself as someone who went into a university, needs to get a degree and then get out. No, make the best of it. What can you do to expand within that job role? Second step, network across and out. Just like Ramla mentioned, okay, use this opportunity today to network, connect with people on LinkedIn. Absolutely. Typically, जब हम networking की बात करते हैं, तो when do we start looking into it? When we need a job, right? And then you go into those specific sectors and you're, trying to get to know people and trying to get on their radar. But एक बात keep in mind कि if you are, for instance, a software engineer and you only network with software engineers, that is you putting a bar on how much you can grow. Because a software engineer can only teach you things a software engineer would know, right? So at the end of the day, you're sort of already yourself putting a dam of sorts around the skills that you can learn. So when you're networking, don't think about, oh, अच्छा इस बंदे से मुझे क्या काम, मतलब क्या, what benefit can I get in terms of a concrete job, or in terms of what the box that you've put yourself in actually. But network to expand your horizons. Network to actually want to learn things that you don't already know. For instance, again, if I take the example of a software engineer, you've seen the kinds of jobs that are out there. You know the kinds of roles that are, expected of you. So you're not getting new knowledge by networking just with software engineers, right? But for instance, if you network with an entrepreneur who was not a software engineer, but let's say worked with a software engineer in some certain capacity, you're immediately going to, of course, expand your network, but learn about skills that you previously did not know about. So this is the second tip. Get out of the box and network across and out. Of course, this does not mean you just go out randomly sending people, connect requests on LinkedIn. There's an etiquette to networking, and you have to really, water those networks as well. So keep that in mind too. But most importantly, just network across and out. And the third thing is be more playful with yourself. Like growing up, it's always, oh, color inside the lines. Yeah, okay, but what if I colored outside the lines? What will happen? It'll be a unique drawing, no? Try new ways of doing things. I know the first thought that comes into mind is, but again, if you're thinking, the thought will come. Don't think, just do it. But the first thought will be, oh, what if I make a mistake? As long as it is something that is not illegal or life-threatening, it's not a mistake. As Grace Hopper said that it's better to beg for forgiveness rather to ask for permission. So just make that mistake, quote unquote, baat ki baat mein dekhi jayegi. For instance, I'll give you an example. If you have to give a course presentation, do you want to be another person who makes slides, goes up in front of the class, talks for 10 minutes, and then sits back down? Okay, everyone's doing that. Yeah, fine. But what if you changed it up? What if you did something unique? What if you, what's it called? Use some background music, thodi si ambiance डालें, right? What's the worst that will happen? Just try it. If nothing else, this experience will teach you something. And maybe there are certain parts of this new experience that you want to take along, and some that you don't want to, and that's perfectly fine. So these three things, WEP is the perfect opportunity for you to use these three tips. Your deliverables, Yes, we give you guidelines, we give you tasks, but we don't dictate how you do each and every single thing. So redefine it, redefine your job. All the connections, all the amazing workshops that have been arranged for you today, that's your network. Get networking and really engage to learn. And when it comes to being playful, again, like this is the launching pad. You're in the driver's seat, you're steering everything. You can choose how you do whatever it is that you're going to do. And by incorporating these three things, you will get so much more experience so that you can start to build that picture of what does an impactful leader look like. Because you will not be thinking, you will be out there doing, and you will be perceived as a leader. I will stop with this, and I'm curious to know if there are any feedback or any ideas. You can use chat function as well. I know we have a jam-packed schedule, but I'm definitely here. So you can use chat function, or if someone would like to unmute now or say something, that's also more than welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabah. That was very, very insightful. And one thing that Dr. Sabah here mentioned, and I would like to sort of pound on it once more, is that a lot of what happens in WEP is not going to be dictated. So that's something that's very different from your regular clubs and societies, right? Nobody is going to be telling you exactly what to do. This is a professional setting. You are in the driver's seat. You get to make the most of the opportunities given to you, or you get to completely ignore those as well. Nobody is going to force you to do anything. At the end of the day, it is an alternate campus experience, right? So you have the choice. With that, let me quickly move on. By the way, I did share Sabah's LinkedIn as well. Please feel free to get in touch through LinkedIn. And I think I am connected to most of the campus ambassadors via LinkedIn, but to all the campus team members as well, please feel free to network, to connect over these professional networking sites. And with that, let me quickly get into what we have in store for 2021. So before that happens, let's start with a quick reality check, right? So the moment Pakistan is the 5th most populous country in the world, right? And about half of its population are women. So even though we're called minorities, we really aren't that minority people, right? We do have a lot of power and a lot of say in what happens. But there's still a long, long way to go when it comes to equality purposes. So we know that about 70% of all of Pakistan's population qualifies for basic literacy, but out of this 70%, less than half are women. We know that. So last year when the pandemic struck, Pakistan's internet access grew exponentially, which was amazing. But of all of this internet access, about 17% were women. Now imagine all the things that happened. Every school transitioned to digital, every college transitioned to digital, work from home went to digital. If only 17% women were connected, how many lost their jobs? How many were not able to attend school? These are things that I want you to think and reflect on. Pakistan ranks about, second worst in the whole world when it comes to out of school children. So about 22.8 million children are out of school right now in Pakistan. So when girls reach 9th grade, of all their age group, just 13% of girls remain in grade school. These are some very dire statistics, but they're needed for us to build on. So we need to acknowledge what the problems are to actually create solutions. Now, we talked so much about networks, right? And we saw the power of these networks when the pandemic hit as well. So when I talk about social media access in Pakistan, think of this as how big somebody's network is. But of all internet users and all social media users in Pakistan, it's not a great picture, because just of all the people, just 23.5 had Facebook accounts. less than 33% women were on Instagram, and about 21.7 women, which is the least, were on LinkedIn. So it appears that women are lagging behind in professional networks. Not so much, which is a good sign, but there is still a long way to go. And by the way, percentage of women is being taken with the whole population of Pakistan that exists on a particular social media platform. So Facebook, because it was introduced to the Pakistani population longer, there is larger population existing over there. That's why the percentage of women has to be taken into perspective here. Now let's talk about STEM fields, right? That's where we get in the action. So about between 12 to 21% women are present in all STEM fields. This ranges from natural sciences, which is again, 21, 22%, to engineering, which is less than 12%, less than 6% in some fields, but they're giving a holistic view. And then these are records taken from the government of Pakistan. So I kind of know that there is perhaps a little bit of buffer in these as well. However, and this is true because I got this data out myself manually from the repository at Pakistan Engineering Council, less than 4.9% women hold supervisory licenses from PEC. Now, who gets supervisory licenses? People who have attained a certain leadership role, right? Those are the people who can attest to a particular, for example, engineering career. So of all the folks who made it, it's less than 5% women. Basically, that means in STEM fields, specifically in engineering, we barely see women. And the most drastic measure of all is the energy sector, where less than 3% Pakistani women are working. So what is Women Engineers Pakistan doing to remedy all of this? Now, we can't claim that we're changing everything or hum har kisi ko rocket science sikha rahe hain, bhai hum 100% khawateen ko le aayenge. That's our long-term goal, yes. But we also have a lot of ground to cover. So we work basically in 3 focus groups, right? Number 1, you guys, the main focus group, undergraduate people. You are the prospective engineers. You are the folks who've stepped into engineering. We don't need to motivate you to enter STEM fields, not just engineering, by the way. We know we have folks entering from physics and other natural sciences here as well. For you, we do a lot of work. We do conferences, we do industry outreach, we do digital and other industry trainings, we do mock interviews with you, we help you polish your CVs and resumes, we do mentorship and career counseling, we do monthly webinars, we help you apply for scholarships, we help you get connected to jobs that somebody in the industry may be looking for. So it's a lot of work overall that we are helping undergraduates across the country, and not just women, by the way, but boys as well. But obviously, because we are Women Engineers Pakistan, our focus has been more or less towards young professional women. However, there's 2 other focus groups, and a lot of work that we do with undergraduates is either free or at very, very subsidized costs. And all we ask of you normally, if this wasn't a pandemic situation, that you form groups as you have and go conduct STEM outreach in middle and high schools in your city. These middle and high schools, we don't put any hard and fast rules here. They can be your own schools, they can be the gali mohalle wale schools, they can be the government schools, or they can be urban setting wale schools jahan pe already facilities maujood hain. Regardless of where you go, we encourage you to conduct what we call game-based learning, where we introduce science concepts by playing games. Okay? Now that the pandemic has struck and there is a serious health concern, we've pivoted this a little bit, and I'll talk a little bit more as I move forward on that. But our last and by far the most difficult focus group has been professional women. That is where we need to work with a lot of, government institutions, a lot of IGOs like World Bank, like the UN. We work with policy and advocacy not conferences, but agencies across the country and globally as well. We pick leaders from, professional women focus group as well as undergraduate folks, and we give them the stage to talk. And many of the alumni that are going to be joining you will tell you that they've represented Women Engineers Pakistan, not just in Pakistan, but abroad as well. They've had to travel to certain cities to attend conferences and actually be the face of WEP. And they have, I am sure, learned a lot about about management, about leadership, about representation, and about advocacy. On the sidelines, we do a lot of work in data collection and research. We do a lot of work with external partnerships because we, again, are a privately held company, so we need to make some profit to work. That is where our conference sponsorships come in. That is where our, professional STEM firms sponsor us to get them a diverse HR pool. And that's where we sift through the CVs that we receive and we hand them over to organizations. Just last year, we were able to get 20 some folks internships at Siemens across Pakistan. And this is just one example. So a lot of work has been happening for the past many years. Now, where do you come in as campus members, right? Sharmeen has a question, so I'm going to pause here. Sharmeen, if you wish, go ahead, please. You can unmute your mic and go ahead, please ask the question.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Sharmeen. It's very nice to meet everyone. My question was that you just mentioned those 3 focus groups that you work with. So the last one was professional women, and you said that that was the hardest to actually conquer because obviously it's complicated. How do you quantify your achievements and the goals that you set for yourself? Is there any specific way that you do that?
Yes, there are ways that we do that. So within the professional women field, one major way that we quantify the impact that we've had is by seeing what is our network of professional women, not just in Pakistan, but the Pakistani diaspora across the globe. That is where we connect you with, for example, like we're going to today with somebody at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, USA, right? As our network increases, so does our impact. That's a very indirect way to gauge. However, we are steadily moving forward. We do have some concrete ways of finding out how much impact did we have. Of course, a lot of that has to do with viewership. For example, we recently started the hashtag Women in STEM Wednesdays, where we are giving a platform for Pakistani women in STEM fields to talk about their work or their research or their industry or their accomplishments, and we see how many people view that, right? These are analytics at the back that are available. We also see, for example, if we conduct conferences, one major way of gauging how much impact we're having is whether or not we reached a 50-50 gender ratio. So for example, last year, we conducted a nationwide STEM job fair, and we wanted to ensure that we have a 50-50 gender ratio. And we tried a lot, but we were only able to get 43% women to join in. But that's also a big deal because, like we were just talking about, less access for women, right? Less digital access for women. That's a huge win when we say that, okay, more women joined in than we expected. So these are for each event, each sector of our work that we're doing. We have a different way to gauge whatever impact we had. Again, our return on investment is impact, right? So that is why it has been slightly difficult to exactly gauge, but we've been doing this for 8 years. So the young girls that we first went 8 years ago and talked to in schools have now graduated from undergrad and are now in the professional field. And for some of them, we have followed their life and we've documented how they've grown, right? And these are few things that I can talk about right now. Sabah, if you'd like to add any of the other things that we've done in this regard.
I think you covered it really nicely. I think the sort of metrics that we use vary across different initiatives. We try to use multiple ones so that we're not biased either, from personal testimonials to digital aids into analytics and so on. But it is definitely a challenge, Sharmeen. It's if we had one golden tool that we could use and just know right off the bat, that would be perfect. But of course, nothing in this sort of field is perfect. So we adapt based on the initiatives, basically. I hope that answers your question.
That was a very good question, actually. Thank you so much. So let me quickly wrap up the campus experience here, because then I want everyone to really participate and network with our alumni and really ask all these questions about their experience there. So the first and foremost part of the Campus Ambassador program and the Campus Ambassador experience is STEM outreach, where you get to be the leaders, you get to be the role models, and you step in front of classrooms. However, with the pandemic, we understand that if it's not impossible, it's very difficult right now. And I, for one, do not want to risk anyone's health. So I do not want you to go into classrooms. What I do want you to do, though, is each person within each campus team mentors at least 10 school students in their own community or in their own neighborhood, right? आप जहाँ रहते हैं, आप जिन लोगों से मिलते हैं, आपके खानदान के लोग, आपके खानदान के बच्चे, आपके cousins, your own siblings, for example, sit with them and teach them a science concept. But the trick here is that you have to play a game to teach that science concept. One example that I always give is fly a paper plane. Fly a paper plane, teach drag force, teach projectile motion, or search the internet, find different chemistry experiments. But your task is to have sat with at least 10 students and mentored them. Empathize that these students have had a tumultuous school year. कभी स्कूल बंद हो रहे हैं, कभी स्कूल खुल रहे हैं, कभी एग्जाम्स कैंसिल हो रहे हैं, कभी एग्जाम्स नहीं कैंसिल हो रहे हैं. So they've gone through hell and back, right? Something that we never had to go through at that age. You and I both. That implies that they need help, they need mentorship, they need role models, they need folks they can ask questions from. So reach out. And I assure you that we will bug you and we will keep this in check, because your campus ambassadors, your main folks who are leading the campus teams, everyone is going to get a million messages from me unless and until I am sure that each team member has started with at least 10 folks. Okay? Next, we do a lot of industry specific trainings, albeit this year, all trainings will be held digitally. Now, like Sabah said, the ball is in your court. We're offering trainings. We're even offering you the choice as a campus team to select one industry specific software and let us know, and we'll arrange that for you. But the trick is that you have to get at least 30 people from your campus to attend that. Less than 30 people, I'm sorry, I'm not going to hire a busy person to come deliver a training for like 5 people who joined in. We've had that before. It's very embarrassing. I am not going to do that again. If I am willing to put in my hours and my efforts, I want the same reciprocated. Okay? However, you get the choice as campus teams to decide what is this one thing that your university didn't probably teach you and you would like to know, because it's very, very specific to what is currently going on in the world and would definitely help you in your upcoming career. Next, internships. Now, this is not on you, this is on us. Hota ye hai ki a lot of companies reach out to us who are looking for interns, who are looking for trainees, who are looking for shadow interns. At that point, we raise a call for CVs. It is your prerogative to get in touch with us, send us your CVs, sit through some of the CV seminars that we do and fix your CVs. It is your prerogative now to act professionally. There's no other way to put this. Okay? So whenever we issue a call for internships, that's your cue to get in touch. We also do a lot of candidate job matching. So those of you who are about to graduate, please get in touch. We do get regular calls from companies who are looking to hire. Let me just tell you that जो भी आपको कहता है कि नौकरियां नहीं है, I'm so sorry, but that's a myth. नौकरियां उन लोगों के लिए नहीं है who fail to pivot, who fail to upskill, who fail to keep up with what is required in the world. I, as a civil engineer, had to really pivot myself to learn control systems engineering because that was the nature of my current job. I had to do that. So I had to be really good at it as well. So oftentimes in the real world, it's not going to be as simple as, oh, you have to work exactly in the same exact field जिसमें आपने degree हासिल की. ऐसा नहीं होता. You can talk to Sabha, you can talk to our alumni. Many of these people had to accommodate based on the scenario, based on the reality around them. We do conduct job fairs, we do conduct conferences. It is on you how best you make the most of it. We also do a lot of career navigation and networking workshops. One of them is today, right? This is a networking workshop. Make sure you get in touch with everyone. Share your LinkedIn profiles. Make sure you talk. Make sure you get in touch. And make sure you make the most of what we're offering. As the year progresses, there's going to be an open call for a lot of these workshops. My purpose today is to tell you that these workshops are, if they are free, they're free for everyone. But if they're not, they're most probably free for you because you are a WEP campus member. Okay? So at the end of the day, the ball is in your court, how much you want to benefit from all these things that we're providing. And lastly, this is again not on you, but here is where we need your help. Like I said, we recently kickstarted an initiative called #Women in STEM Wednesdays. That's where we are picking up role models, Pakistani female role models, who are working on some amazing things. They are not necessarily somebody very accomplished. Some of them are students. Some of them are people who've had a 40-year-old career. Some of them are just starting. These are people in different walks in life in STEM fields, and we're handing them back the mic. This is a sentence that Sabha used, and I picked it up and I've used it to its death. But that actually, exactly personifies what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase the digital footprint of Pakistani women. That means that jab somebody Googles them, their accomplishments show up. Them talking about their accomplishments show up, right? So we request you to nominate such role models. They can be your professors, your teachers, they can be your bosses at a particular internship or a classmate or a friend or a senior or you yourself. Who knows, maybe your story inspires hundreds of thousands of people across Pakistan, right? Maybe you had to go through hell and back to be where you are. So make sure you get in touch. I will rotate a link where you can nominate your role models. With that, I will quickly summarize what your deliverables are in this whole year. Deliverable 1, each one of you has to conduct STEM outreach with at least 10 school-going students. This does not need to happen inside a school. These can be your cousins, your siblings, gali mohalle ke bache, neighborhoods ke bache, anyone, but it has to be 10 people, 10 young kids. Deliverable 2, we expect active participation in all our events this year. This expectation is rooted in professionalism. You are a campus ambassador. You are the face of Women Engineers Pakistan in your particular campus. Everything that you do sheds a light on who we are, what we stand for, what we do. Okay? So it is now your professional duty to conduct yourselves in a way that is expected of young professional graduates. Deliverable 3, kindly per campus team, we have 9 campus teams, select at least one role model and let us know. We really would like to highlight and showcase these role models who perhaps have inspired you Who knows, they inspire how many other people. And lastly, and I did not talk about this a lot because I will pound on it when the time comes, near the end of your campus engagement with us, we will request you to write one intensive blog post per campus team. That needs to cover topics such as the difficulties you had during your STEM career, or perhaps something inspirational that happened to you during the tenure of your WEP participation, or any other such topic. But I will get in touch regarding that when the time comes. I believe this is it from my side. Does anyone have any questions so far? If there are no questions, sorry, go ahead.
Role model should be woman, or a man can also be a role model?
No, a role model, our criteria for role model are female role models. We will step into male allies, but not right now. Perhaps next year, because that is also very, very important. Sabha and I always talk about this at any conference that we present on, is that male allyship is extremely crucial for moving women empowerment forward in Pakistan. Okay? That is why a lot of your campus teams were required to have male participation, because we cannot have this one-sided conversation. Right? But at this point, because we are just pivoting to digital, hum face-to-face conferences nahi kar rahe hain. That's why we're going to focus first on women, and then we're going to move on to men. ठीक है?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Jikash, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Gashful Iman. And my question is that, ma'am, you mentioned that we have to assemble a team of 30 people in order to avail that industrial experience internship. So my question is that all those people are going to have avail it for free, or they have to pay for it?
If they are part of your campus team, they avail it for free. If they are not part of your campus team, they avail it for a very discounted cost. ठीक है?
Right, ma'am.
ठीक है. So for example, let me give you a very quick example. अगर कोई course in normally 30,000 का दिया जा रहा है, तो we'll give it to you for like 300, 500 rupees, nothing more than that. This money is there to ensure participation, ensure seriousness. That's it. It doesn't profit us in any shape or form.
Right, ma'am.
Okay. All right.